Welcome to another episode of the Locker Room Talk. We have a stacked show for y'all today. We're going to talk about Colorado Buffaloes, all the players reported back for offseason workouts, the quarterback battle between Juju Lewis and Caden Salter, as well as we're going to go check up on Shedeur Sanders up in Cleveland. People, and he's changed the minds of the Cleveland media and the people around him. Let's go.
Let's go. Time to grind, get inside your mind. Yeah, we working overtime. That's the only way to climb.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy. I'm welcome to Locker Room Talk, powered by RSTP Network. Hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody's enjoying the good weather out here. So, yeah, let's jump into it. All the players reported back to CU for off-season workouts, getting ready for that fall camp. And there's a quarterback competition brewing between Julian Lewis and Caden Salter. So we're going to dive into that. Also, we're going to dive into Shedeur, how he's turning heads and changing people's minds up in Cleveland. So let's get into all that. So the first thing I want to dive into is all the players at CU reported back today, or now reported back Monday. This is the third year of Coach Prime's era, and is officially on its way. So while there's more excitement this year and see what's the plan to come without arguably the two best college football players from last year, and Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, who's the most dynamic player in the nation last year. So we're gonna get into all that. So Colorado takes the field workouts. So what do we expect from that? What do we expect them to do going forward? And what is the era, the third year, the era of Coach Prime, post Shedeur and Travis? What does that look like? The question is, how can Coach Prime take that next step with this team? And how will his approach evolve? Let's be clear. You can't just replace Travis and Shedeur and their explosive plays and the ability to make plays. But I believe there's a plan in motion with that. So Coach Prime has this roster using both high school and transfer portal. He's getting them ready for work. And I just got to say, it's coming together, y'all. It's coming together. We'll just got to see what the time brings. They're up there as of Monday. They started off-season conditioning and strength training. We just got to see what's next. I believe the focus is going to be on the balance, physicality up front. There's noticeable emphasis on improving the offensive line. And he's just not building to compete in the Big 12. He's aiming SEC level type players, linemen, transfer portal players, to battle in the trenches. So the offensive line group has, again, got an overhaul. So Coach Prime has been getting these O linemen. And then there's from the way he recruited and the way the transfer porter, and this is his O line. He got Carday Smith, he has Chauncey Gooden, those high school players, but he also got some big offensive linemen coming from the transfer portal. These are the transfer portals he did this year. This group he's going to demand a lot from this group. This unit has to dominate, not just in their matchups and onto the field. It's going to be more demanding. Offensive line coach is going to be more demanding for this offensive line to produce. So the question is, can they dominate throughout the season, dominate postseason matchups, whether it's in a bowl game or in potential college football playoff? This is the type of line that they needed and they need to go farther in the playoffs or even make it to the Big 12 championship appearance. He knows winning in football in December and January starts in the trenches, and the transfer portal perceives that. So Coach Prime offensively philosophy is switching. He's getting that big, strong offensive lineman, like I stated, SEC level battles in the trenches. So don't be surprised if they're in more personnel. I think the offensive philosophy is more of a pro. It's going to be more of a pro style. Probably you'll see more tight ends or maybe two tight ends set on the field. The goal is to simply help the run game, improve pass protection, expect more pro style approach. I believe some downhill running, setting up play action, and simplifying reads for whoever wins the quarterback job. Which that right there is going to be the biggest story going into camp. There's a bunch of different things that his philosophy is showing. So when I attended the spring game, the quarterbacks were under center more. Mostly Juju was under center more, but quarterbacks were in under center. There's tight ends. It was more of a pro style offense. So I see that approach. Coach Prime's third year, this is going to tell us from here on out, without Shedeur Travis, particularly without Shedeur, what he's trying to do and how he's trying to build this team. I'm excited for it. I hope y'all are excited for it. While Buff fans, I hope y'all are excited for it. So I honestly think with this switch of philosophy, it's more getting these kids pro ready, not just pro ready, but understanding the pro game. They have the offensive coordinator to do it. Pat Shurmur's been in the NFL for many years, and I know his staff has a lot of NFL experience. But I think getting them more particularly ready for the NFL is going to be great for them. More of a pro style win. This type of offense creates clean looks, rollouts, the pockets, allows quarterbacks to read half the field when they do roll out, getting the ball to athletes in space. Big question is which running back will step up and become that workhorse. That could define the identity of this team and of this offense. So now with Marshall Falk, the new running backs coach, coming in, I see there's going to be a lot of downhill running. More of a pro style running game, and not to mention, I believe that he's going to get more out of these kids. Just for some fact, he's Marshall Falk Hall of Famer, and he can coach his butt off. He's been doing it for years, even though it's behind the scenes. And I think overall running game should be better, not just with the offensive lines that they brought in, even for the returning ones like a Jordan Seaton and the Tyler Brown and Houston coming back from injury. But I think those guys up there can make a big difference in the running game this year. And some of those in second year with Coach Brown, Tyler Brown's been here for a while. But I think with this type of offense, they're going to probably run with tight ends, and they're going to have more ability to get downhill, maybe some stretch plays, be more creative in the run game. Because last year they weren't creative at all. I feel like they were just in 10 personnel, and they literally just don't read it. And it was, we couldn't do anything with it. Our line wasn't either strong enough or not. And that being said, with the new strength and conditioning coach that they have, Coach Swayze, I feel like they're going to be better and stronger and be suited better for the trenches. And a little thing about Coach Swayze is he was the architect behind all the great players that came out of Miami University, like the Devin Hesters, the Calais Campbells, the Ed Reeds, all those guys, some Hall of Famers, all those guys, and everyone swear by his strength and conditioning. So see you guys now. And now when you see the videos with Well-Off and Reach People and the pregame show, you can see their bodies changing. You can see that they're working hard. He's making them work hard. He's changing their bodies to NFL bodies. So that right there is going to give CU the edge and take it up a notch for the overall team. So one thing I want to dive into, and this is going to be the big story coming out of Boulder and the Buffs, is what's going to happen in the quarterback room. The quarterback room is going to go down to Julian Juju Lewis and Caden Salter. Okay, Caden Salter is a fifth year senior transferring from Liberty. Great awareness, great speed, understands college football. Without Shedeur, we got to see who's going to replace him in the room. We can't replace a pretty good darn player in Shedeur Sanders, but who's gonna get that starting spot? I don't know. I have my predictions of they're going to play a lot in the season. Both of them are going to play a lot in the season. I just hope that it's not one of those you get one series, you get the other. Let them establish a rhythm in this before they start doing all that. But honestly, Juju Lewis and Katie Salter, their skill set are similar but different. All right, but Juju was one of the most hyped high school quarterbacks in the nation. He was probably, I think he was either the number one or number two quarterback in this recruiting class, but he reclassified. He's supposed to be in the 2026 class, but dropped down to 25. He just wanted to hurry up and get to college early, which if you have the talent for it, by all means. He has an elite arm, IQ. Under pressure, he already looks like a natural leader. You know what I mean? So on the field, he looks like he can control an offense. It's just up to him to perform in practice during camp for him to become the starter. Not to take any away from Caden Salter. He comes from Liberty, putting up huge numbers, showed he can win in big games, both his arms and his legs. So I'm not saying Juju Lewis can't run. I believe he can run. He looks faster than what you probably think. He's able to move around. But Caden Salter just has that a little leg up in I guess the scramble and the running around type thing. So this is the Calgary. This is something that I made up, a little chart that just states kind of how I think about these two. Arm strength, I think Juju got some. Mobility, I think Caden has them. Experience, obviously Juju's a freshman. Caden Salter is fifth year senior. last year eligibility. So he's playing for it. He's playing for it all. He's playing to try to get to that next level so people can see how good he is. I believe coming at Liberty, he's actually a pretty great thrower of the ball. He can scramble. He's just an athlete, but he's also he can throw the ball. I know Lewis has a strong arm. I think Salter has a strong arm too. And then just the upside, I just think Juju is going to be for the next 3, possibly 4 years. Juju Lewis is going to lead CU. How early is he going to lead CU is pretty much up to him and how he plays during fall camp. Eddie Salter has this one. He's one and done here. So he's going to have to come in blazing into fall and show Coach Prime and all the other offensive coaches that he's able to not just lead this team, but take over this team and continue where they left off last year offensively. Because last year, they were explosive. Like I said, granted, they had Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and Jimmy Horn and Will Shepard and Levante Webster. They had those explosive players. Not taking that away from CU this year. The simple fact is they have receivers. They have an abundance of receivers. They bring back Omarion Miller, Taylon Miller. They bring in Bronx and Sin Brown in. They have Nick Williams here. They have, what's his name, Hodge. They have the freshman coming in there, the littler guy. I want to say Gibson, I believe. They have Cam Michael. I'm not sure if he's going to be just a receiver. I think he's going to be all over just like Draylon Miller. But they have playmakers. And then the tight ends they brought in. So if these quarterbacks in this competition can give these guys the ball in space, it's going to be, I guess you can't look at CU as a surprise team, but I believe there are a surprise team because I think everybody is now questioning what happens now since Shedeur and Travis left. So we're going to get to see that. But back to this quarterback situation. But what's at stake for these two quarterbacks? Obviously, this just isn't just a competition. This is about identity. And when I say that is, if Juju wins the job, it's probably looking more structured like a pro style offense. I don't think there's going to be necessarily a pro style and a spread offense. I just think they're going to continue. It's just going to be one offense. It's more of it's a long term upside. Anyway, if Soldier takes over, expect more dynamic, more runs with the quarterback. But they have they're both talented quarterbacks that can do pretty much anything and everything. Both hungry, both want to win the starting job. And, Coach Prime has a hard decision when it comes to that whole situation. So I know this is going to be a big topic of discussion throughout Boulder. Fans are going to, shouting from the rooftops, talk about we want Juju, we want Caden. I honestly, in my personal opinion, I believe they're both going to play, and we're just going to see who wins, or we're going to see how it goes. I believe. I know some people say if you have too many quarterbacks, you have none. But in this case, you got the older veteran quarterback in Salter, getting his knowledge and his experience into the game, and maybe Juju will come in and get a couple of reps, getting a little rhythm going, have him flash a little bit. So when Salter leaves in 2026, Juju's there to pick up and keep it pushing. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be exciting to see how these guys compete against each other. And I know Coach Prime wants them to compete and I guess let the best man win, but he has a hard decision ahead. It's a good problem to have, though, to have two talented QBs like this in the same room fighting for that position. For those that think that Juju is going to transfer, I don't believe he's built like that. I don't think he's going to transfer. He knows that the keys are his as soon as Salter leaves. Because I think after Salter leaves, it's all his. It's all Juju or nothing. But from my standpoint is if Juju just continues to get better, and mind you, he's still young. He's only 17 years old currently. He literally graduated a year early. So if he can get used to that speed of the game when it comes to it, and then we can go. Or you never know what may happen throughout the whole year. You never know if injuries might happen. You just don't know. It's football. It's 100% injury rate. You know what I mean? So Coach Prime has that crazy decision upon him, and I just believe he's going to pick the best man. And that's not surprising. So I know that's the biggest story coming in the fall camp, because when does Coach Prime make that decision? I don't think he's going to make it up anytime soon. So when we get into fall camp, it's not going to be after 2 weeks, okay, this person started. I think it's going to trickle all the way down to close to a week before the Georgia Tech game. But he probably won't tell us until we'll see when the kickoffs when kickoff happens in Georgia Tech. But I don't know if he's going to tell us. But we'll listen to his press conference. But knowing Coach Prime, I don't know him, but from what his how he is, they're going to compete into the very last minute, and Coach Prime will make a decision. But don't be surprised if both of them play multiple times in the game and go back and forth and somehow try to make that work for the offense. I know they got to have camaraderie and gel with quarterbacks, but if we can somehow get this going, I think it can probably work out. And I know most people don't like that whole switching in. You got to pick a starters thing, but who knows what Coach Prime's going to think? He has the experience. He's out of a coach, so I guess we'll see what happens when it comes to that. So whoever gets the starting team, just let's go out there and win some games. So now breaking down the defense. Overall, the defense is great. It was great last year. Well, I can't say great. It was better last year. Colorado's defense was probably the bright spot last season, one of the bright spots. But now the new talent added through the portal and recruiting, the expectations even higher because I believe they got better up front with the defensive line. I believe that in a whole, defense is going to be better. I think they have more depth in the secondary. I think defensive line got depth. The only question that I have is the linebackers. It seems like we're always missing out, or they're always missing out on that key linebacker, but they got some transfers in. I know they got Hughes, they got French, and those guys look like those linebackers that are going to start. But you still got Brown and a couple other people from last year, and that knows this system. So we got to sit back and just look and see what happens at camp. Should I think they should? I believe they should take another step, especially with the defensive coordinator that we saved from getting taken from us to go to the NFL. But I'm not too worried about the defense per se because I believe that their defense is going to be fine, and they just gotta, the news guys got to step up, and that pipeline from IMG with the one defensive tackle and the other defensive end, Merritt and I think McPherson. I think those guys are going to show out and show up. They're young, but Coach Prime says he don't care if you're young. If you ball, you get in. So that right there. Plus, he still got the core coaches from last year coming back, Warren Sapp and all that. So Coach Prime's 3 years feels like it's a turning point. So without all the people that left, we just got to see where this goes. The maturation is going to have to happen, and this year overall needs to feel we got to take that level up. So nothing, I feel like nothing less to at least get into the Big 12 championship is a fail. Not just because if you win 9 games again, it's a fail. It's just more that they expect they got Peggy to the bowl game. Now it's let's take that step up to Big 12 championship. Let's go win that thing. So overall, I feel like this is going to be a better overall team with the overall depth, with the overall players that they brought in. That I believe that their defense will be fine. The overall team's going to be great. They just got to go out there and do it now. I feel like they got the depth to do it. Coach Prime in his 3rd year. This is when your team really takes a big jump. So I think I believe they're going to take. I know they're going to take that big jump. They just got to do it on the field. And with all the new additions to the from the portal and the freshman class, even some of the coaches, strength and conditioning coach, I think that's going to level them up to a different type of level. And I know Coach Prime wants to be that dominant team. He wants to compete with those likes of Ohio States and the Alabamas and the Oregons. So I think he's on his way to do so. So this team looks overall a lot better, a lot more depth, and a lot more ready to play. And again, I'm not dissing Travis Shedeur. They're players that helped turn around this program from the depths of 1-11 and terrible for since 2016. So I'm looking forward to it this year. I'm looking forward to Coach Prime's year. I can't wait to check out some of the stuff in camp, the quarterback battle, the defense, and what I expect from them. And we'll just see how this maturation of Coach Prime's 3rd year is without Shedeur and Travis, which I believe is going to be great. So comment in the section, just kind of show me or kind of tell me how y'all feel about Coach Prime and Steve Buff's 3rd year, and can they take that next level? Can they take that and level up to the next level to compete for not just Big 12 championships? It's just because I feel like there's false information, a lot of false information, and in some reality, I think people just say it for clickbait, but I'm not sure. The mainstream media and the battle in up in Cleveland with Shedeur, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Dylan Gabriel. The mainstream media is missing about a lot of I really don't understand how mainstream media keeps missing out on the point of which the Brown situation, even though everybody's Shedeur fans are getting mad and stuff like that. But I keep on continually to say Shedeur was a fifth round pick, and I totally understand that. First, he's not going to get cut. He's not your typical first round pick. So let's just stop clickbaiting it. And some people are saying he's a fifth round pick. He's liable to get cut. He's last on the depth chart. He's not going to get playing time. I don't think he's this. I don't think he's that. But it's clearly the value they got in. The Cleveland love the value that they got in him, and everybody's paying attention. But like again, I'm going to say he's not a typical fifth round pick. So with that, the whole mainstream media, and we're going to go over it because there's things that were said on certain shows and certain people that just it baffles me because you guys put Shedeur in this fifth round box. And like I said before, he's going to earn his reps in training camp. These OTAs, he's already standing out. And I understand people's like, just pump your brakes. He has developing to do. So I'm going to say this before anything else. If he got picked by the Browns in the first or the second round, would we be having the same question? Would we be having the same, I guess, takes? I don't believe it or not. I don't believe we would. Oh, he should be able to start. Let me give you this. I don't want to put this out there for everybody. Is Shedeur Sanders a fifth round draft pick talent? He's not. He's not, again, he's not your typical fifth round pick because just because he fell because of the whispers and you want to say conspiracy or collusion, whatever you want to say in this situation, Shedeur was never supposed to be a fifth round pick. He is a first and second round talent, and he so happened to drop in the fifth round. So I don't know the narrative of him. He's a fifth round pick. He has to, how can I say that? He has to work harder. He's in this box, so to say. So let's not get this misconstrued. He is a first round talent. So when he's out there and he's playing and he shows his first round talent and if he beats them, all the other quarterbacks, he should be able to start. I know everybody, and I'm gonna show you a clip of, oh, he's a fifth round talent. There's never been a fifth round pick. There's never been a fifth round pick to start. Again, this is not your typical first round pick or fifth round pick. So yeah, let's check this out.
Starter day one. This is what this question is asking me for on the field when he gets back, if he has a good preseason. I think it's going to take one of the greatest preseason performances of all time to vault him.
So he said that it's going to take him one of the greatest of all time, but I don't understand why Chase Daniels, I'm going to call you out on this. Why do you think that Shedeur can't do it? Why do you think he can't? Because he's a fifth round pick? And I keep on telling people again, he's not your typical fifth round pick. He's not that. He should have been the second quarterback picked in this draft in the first round and not Jackson Dart. And again, I feel like he was the best quarterback in this draft class. So when you say a fifth round pick is not going to be able, he has an uphill battle. I understand he has an uphill battle. So yes, that's another thing. And I don't understand why he says, or has an uphill battle, he's a fifth round pick. Because at the end of the day, he's not typical fifth round pick. He's not your typical fifth round pick. So Chase Daniels, I'm going to call you out on this. He's not your typical fifth round pick. Let's just be honest. So I wholeheartedly believe if he's able to play this game and win this battle, he should start. And this is coming from somebody who don't think he's going to start right away. I think Joe Flacco's going to start. And I've already stated this before. I think Joe Flacco's going to start. Kenny Pickett's either going to be traded or whatever else. Shedeur's going to be the backup quarterback, and Dylan Gable's going to be on the roster as the third quarterback. They're going to keep three quarterbacks because one of the old guys is going to be the odd man out just because he drafted two young quarterbacks. So I don't see why Chase Daniels continues to say these things and think that this is not going to happen. I understand he hasn't got reps with the ones and twos yet, but I feel like it's a bigger picture. But you do earn your reps for training camp in OTAs for grasping the offense, to understand what you're going to do, for the rhythm they want you to play with. So he's going to get first team reps. So everybody that's Shedeur fans, just relax on the first reps thing. It's that right now in OTAs is not a big deal. Now if he starts getting them in minicamp, then we're gonna see something different. But Chase Daniels, I understand you think he's a fifth round pick and you are non-drafted and the NFL says this, but again, his talent says first round, not fifth round. So whatever happened, they dropped into the fifth round. again, he's not a fifth round talent because coming out of college and coming out of the draft before the whole process started, he was mentioned to be picked one of the first two quarterbacks picked. And again, I heard this yesterday by a very good, not just source, but a person that I see personality. So Big Neely, Uncle Neely, he said, Coach Sapp says the months leading up to the draft is to the whole evaluation process is to see how much money they'll pay or evaluate how they can drop you in the draft so they don't have to pay so much money. Not to that standpoint of what I said. He said it more smoothly and it's one of those isms. But the evaluation process is to see your worth, but in the sense of how can I get the best player for the cheapest price? That's what it's all about, fellas. You think these NFL players or these owners and GMs are trying to get the best player with the highest money? They're trying to get a bargain wherever they go. They bargain shop. That's what the draft is. A bargain shopping to see, and they're talking and saying whatever they got to say so that player can drop to them for a cheaper price. Let's just be all honest. Is Shedeur getting overhyped in OTAs? Possibly, maybe. Who knows? I don't think so. I just think that's just who he is. But again, here's another clip of Chase Daniels saying some, I feel like, faulty information and not realizing Shedeur Sanders' talent. Okay, now with that. And I'm going to stay right there. Chase Daniels, let's be honest with ourselves here. Who is a better, honestly, let's be honest. Dylan Gabriel's not as talented as Shedeur Sanders. And are we going to sit here and sit back and just because Dylan Gabriel was the third round pick, are we really going to say that? Let's be honest with ourselves on that. So yes, Chase Daniels, I'm calling you out. And I'm just calling you out, it's no menace. But just because Dylan Gabriel was drafted higher, that don't mean Shedeur's talent isn't more talented than Dylan Gabriel. Okay, I understand just because he drafted third round, he's on the depth chart as the third quarterback currently. And I totally understand that. But you can't say the leash is a lot longer for Shedeur than it is Dylan Gabriel because Shedeur's ceiling is way higher than Dylan Gabriel's. Let's just put that out there. Let's not get clicked. Let's not just try to make the show good because you want to play devil's advocate in this whole situation. So Shedeur Sanders' leash is longer. He is the most talented quarterback I believe in the room currently. I think he's better than Pickett. I think he's better than Joe Flacco at 40. I think he's better than Dylan Gabriel by a long shot. Again, Shedeur wasn't supposed to be there in the third round. He wasn't even supposed to be there in the second round. But I even give you the second round. He's supposed to be a first round pick. Circumstances, not his talent. Circumstances, fifth round. Whispers got him to the fifth round. People don't like his personality. They don't like his dad. That's what got him to whatever it may be. He didn't interview whatever propaganda that got going on with Shedeur Sanders. That's the reason why he didn't go in the first round. But his talent's not his talent by any means. He is more talented than Dylan Gabriel. So let's stop saying just because Dylan Gabriel got drafted before him, Shedeur's not the better player. So let's forget it. Let's stop with the clickbait bullshit, please, because that's just not what it is. That's not what we see. That's not what people see. That's not what Mel Kiper sees. That's not what Shady sees. That's not what James is seeing. No one sees that. Everybody sees that Shedeur is a better talent than Dylan Gabriel. You're the only one that keeps on saying he's a fifth round pick. He's a fifth round pick. And even those, I'm not going to say haters of Shedeur or the people that has something against Shedeur for a reason. Let's be honest. He is better than Dylan Gabriel. He is better than Kenny Pickett. Y'all would not be saying or stating this bullshit things that y'all saying out of his mouth if he was a first round or second round pick. Y'all wouldn't say that. And it's dumb for y'all to say. Can y'all just understand? He is a fifth round pick. I get that. But his talent's not fifth pick round worthy. He is more talented than than anybody else, or maybe than Cam Ward. I personally think he's more talented than Cam Ward because he has the quarterback tangibles to be the best quarterback in this draft. So everybody that says he's a fifth round fucking pick, let's stop. He's not your typical, he's not the typical fifth round pick. So let's just get that out the way. Let's just understand that now. So let's just stop trying to have this for debate or argument's sake and just continue to understand. He's a first round talent and a first round quarterback. We wouldn't have this conversation if he got picked, I guess, in the first or second round. But you guys will continue to have these conversations and put this stuff out there because he's a 5th-round pick, knowing damn well he's better than all these quarterbacks in this draft, pretty much. So let's just leave that out there and let's continue to just say, hey, if he plays well enough, he can become the starter. Let's not. I feel like you guys have some of y'all have something against Shedeur, and you guys can sit here and say y'all don't, but that right there shows me that you do. I understand that you're saying certain things because the politics of the game of football, and I totally get that, and I agree with you on the politics of the game of football. But let's not say because of his talent, it's an uphill battle. If the politics in football is making it an uphill battle, you feel me? So yeah, that's then. Shady got to point, and I've stated this in the previous episode. Shedeur high jersey sales. He's doing it, and this is the if this is the politics of football, he's making the team money. He is selling jerseys. He's doing all this thing. He's bringing more fanfare to Cleveland. He's bringing his fans to Cleveland. So, do you honestly think they're going to get rid of him? And again, I'm going to state again for the 1000th time, he's not your typical 5th-round pick, but he's talented enough to be a 1st-round pick. Shut the fuck up, Princeton. So, with that, I don't see how he gets cut. I don't care if he's a 5th-round pick. He's not going to get cut. He's not getting cut. His talent's going to get him to play. Just like James said, the old men are going to be the odd man out. I personally think that it's Kenny Pickett getting traded to New Orleans because their quarterback situation. But hey, I might be wrong. They might just cut Joe Flacco. But I know for a fact that Shedeur is a 5th-round pick. He's not getting cut. Dylan Gable's going to be on the team because they picked him, and they're just gonna. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But the talent's going to rise to the top, in which Shedeur's talent is rising to the top. So I don't understand why Chase always tries to combat Shady and James on this situation, or just anybody, or anybody says that, because I know a lot of other mainstream media is out there stating the same thing. But again, if y'all know the politics of football, which you guys are insiders, which y'all should know, he is not getting cut. And yes, he's going to be on the active roster. He's not going to be quarterback 3. He's going to be quarterback 2. Or I can see this. I can see Shedeur Sanders being QB3. It could be either Flacco, Gable, Shedeur starting the first game or in the first game roster. Really simple being is just because they were drafted that way, I can see that politic happening. But I guarantee, if say Joe Flacco got hurt, you think they're going to play Dylan Gable or Shedeur Sanders? I guarantee the fans are going to make him play Shedeur Sanders, or the coach is going to make him play Shedeur Sanders. Simple being is, first of all, we've seen that before in multiple of teams before. That, and the fans are going to want Shedeur. The media is going to want Shedeur. The NFL is going to want Shedeur to play. So I guess the whole politic of the game is, let's be honest with ourselves, mainstream media. You have something against Shedeur, and it's not his talent. And that's the question you got to ask yourself. What is it about this kid that you just don't like? Because all signs point that he's a great human being. He's a great kid, great teammate. So what is your guys's? And y'all can say, oh, it's the Shedeur's fans and all that. No, it's not the Shedeur fans, because Cleveland and mainstream media, y'all talk more about his father coming up when he was getting drafted than you did him. You talk more about his dad when it comes to his talent than you did him. His dad is dictating. His dad was this. He's not his dad. His dad was one of the best athletes in the game, and he don't have his talent. You talked and compared him more to his dad than anything else. You compared him to his dad more than you compared him to other quarterbacks. So media, y'all have something against this kid for reasons unknown, and the shit that y'all were saying. So don't sit here and try to bullshit your way out of that, because simple fact is, we've seen it. Fans seen it. I seen it. The comparisons. And I want to get away from the word hate, because I don't think you guys hate the kid because you don't know the kid. I think something about him, as in the way his aura. You don't like his aura, so to say. That's what your guys' problem is, his aura. Because his talent on the field is no question. How he was raised, no question. And I know it's not just because of the chains and stuff like that. We can move past that, because every NFL player has chains around his neck and goatees. Some got goatees in their mouth. So I know it's not that. It can't be that. It can't be that he dropped. It can't be that because all the rumors and the bullshit and the narratives that came out. I think you gotta just don't like his aura. I don't even think it's his dad, because it's not his talent. That's what I keep on saying. It's not his talent. So y'all need to get that out your head and understand his talent is not worth a 5th-round pick. And in this whole quarterback battle, if he's the best player, he should play. And I'm talking to Kevin Stefanski. There's no question. And if he's the best player throughout camp, preseason, why not let him play? Because I know if you picked him in the second pick overall or whatever pick y'all had, y'all would have played him. But there's no difference from when you picked him. If you could have picked him in the 1st round to the 5th round, he still has the same talent, same attributes, same everything. The only thing is he got picked 144th, not second or third or fourth. So make that make sense for me. But I don't think y'all could because the politics of the NFL. Nah, it's not the politics. Like I stated before, best players play. And if he's your best player, your best quarterback, your best chance to win, play him. And I don't want to hear they got another pick for quarterbacks coming out this year. You can miss me on that shit because those quarterbacks back there are coming out next year. They're not good. Arch Manning, we haven't seen him play a full game. Just because his last name is Manning, I don't want to hear it whatsoever. Because if that's the case, Joe should have been the first pick overall because his dad has a name. He has a legacy. So I don't want to hear the quarterback draft is better. Not one of those college quarterbacks coming out next year is better than Shedeur at this point in their lives. I don't want to hear it because if that's the case, Shedeur won the best quarterback award in college football last year. They're in college last year, correct? So I don't want to hear it. I don't. Just like Quentin Ewers, he went back for another year because his draft static, he was supposed to be the number 1 pick, 2 years ago, a year ago, or last year, but no, terrible. And those things I don't understand. It's the politics of the game. So therefore, that's the reason why I say what I say. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to something more, and what we came to decide, what we sought off to do. So, Shedeur Sanders is changing minds in Cleveland, which I kind of assumed that was going to do. And one thing I want to say before I get into this, my man James Porter for the Bleacher Report, I love you, dog. You covered the Broncos. I met you before. You're a good dude. And you're wrong about the whole 5th-round able to get cut. Again, Shedeur's not a typical 5th-round pick. Now, moving on. So, Cleveland media has been, while certain Cleveland media like Tony, what is his name? Tony Grossi, Mary Kay Cabot, all of them are the non-Shedeur fans, I guess, in the media. And I don't know if you don't know the game of football now or whatever it may be in your situation. But most of the media come around to Shedeur changing heads, not just media, but coaches and teammates. So I feel like I feel like Cleveland Browns got a lottery ticket with Shedeur Sanders. Again, they're not going to cut him, but the bottom line is he's not your average 5th-round pick. The Browns know it. They got lucky with the value. That's why I call him a lottery pick for Cleveland Browns, because if he hits, you can spend too much and you can get rid of him and start doing your thing. The real question is going to be who's going to be the odd man out in this situation. I honestly think it's going to be Kenny Pickett, not Joe Flacco. I think they're going to cater to the young guys, and then we're going to move on from there. Well, Shedeur's turning and changing the minds of the media and people in Cleveland because he is talented. Each throw he makes, each layer throw he makes, each deep ball he throws, they're going to start to realize his personality and who he is off the field as well. So, yes, so your perceived notion about who he is all pertained on the aura that people said that they don't like. So again, like I stated, the aura of Shedeur Sanders and what you think he is why you don't like the kid. But those questions are getting answered. Just his play on the field in practice and how he is outside of the field. So Cleveland's like, oh, I didn't realize. So all the statements that they had and all that, his teammate, and I quote, or no, this is a coach, and I quote, his command and his presence and the way he processes is legit. This is per assistant coach in Cleveland Brown, stated to a media member in Cleveland. The teammate also said, he walks into the huddle like he's been there for years. And I quote, just because he has confidence doesn't mean that he's cocky and arrogant. He just believes in himself. Again, you don't like his aura as a football player, and that's fine. I know some people hate Aaron Rodgers' aura on the football field, but you can't deny he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. So come on now. And this, don't tell me, oh, this is you got to get down before you lay down type situation where you got to play the bullshit politics and not be who you are just so you can either get drafted higher or people can like you. Honestly, if you don't like me for me, that's just on you. And we don't have to conversate. We don't have to be around each other. That's how I feel about that situation. So yes, he's turning heads with plays like this, and I don't think they understand. He has above average arm. He got talent. He knows the game. He knows defenses, and this right here is one of the reasons why I feel like they're coming around finally, it's starting to creep up on him how good he really is. Like I said again, this is not just a fifth round pick, your typical first round pick. This is a first round pick. He is a first round talent. Again, I know the media and all these people are stating he needs to progress. Granted, all quarterbacks got to get better. All players got to get better. That's why you do OTAs. That's why you practice, people. That's why you practice. But again, I'm not gonna sit back here and have these people say that he can't do these things that you see. So again, media, they're starting to come around. So I understand why they come around, because they're seeing plays like this, and they're starting to see who this kid really is. And I want everybody to understand that. Even I have my man right here. So my man right here, I want to say it's Tony Rizzo or Rizzy, something like that. But my man has been on the Shedeur hype train the whole time. He understands. He sees the talent. So I want y'all to take a listen to how the media is switching up on him, and starting to understand who this kid is. So yeah, the media is starting to turn around. But my man right here, he's been with Shedeur this whole time. He's been confident. He just wants to see what these quarterbacks had. And again, people inside of Cleveland are stating like, hey, he might be the best quarterback. I don't know if they didn't really evaluate him throughout the process and they didn't really look at him or see his games. But if he has time in the pocket, he's getting the ball off, and he's getting it off on time, and he's getting it to the right in the right place. He's making the right reads. He's doing those things. So I guess they finally started to see it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. It just, the media just keep on with the, he's just turning heads, and not surprised here again. Not surprised at all that he's doing this. So I don't know. I'm not surprised about it, but some people are. Some people are surprised. So again, here's another reason from the same ESPN Cleveland.
At OTAs yesterday, from what I heard, and I talked to 20 people that were there.
Yeah.
Consensus best quarterback, Joe Flacco. Consensus second best quarterback, Shedeur Sanders.
Wow.
Consensus third, Dylan Gabriel. Consensus worst player at OTAs, Kenny Pickett.
Aaron, that is your narrative. Chris, get the hell out of here.
He just came in and said Aaron's right.
Who said Aaron's right?
So yeah, I don't think they realize that Shedeur, he's just getting better every day. And I'm showing y'all the receipts on how he's turning people's heads. So everybody out there on the big networks can understand that the insiders are starting to like, okay, maybe this guy is doing what we need him to do, or not doing what we need to do, but he is starting to progress, and he's starting to show his talent. And receipts are here. He's just turning heads.
Text from an ESPN Cleveland employee not named Tony Grossi, big surprise there, that said, quote, Shedeur looked like the best quarterback in camp.
I have come to a realization.
Oh, boy.
By the time we get to September, I think Tony Grossi's wrong. I think there's a way Shedeur Sanders starts the first game.
Wow.
Now that I've seen some videos and talked to a bunch of people and multiple practices, I think Shedeur Sanders was the best quarterback out there yesterday. I think now Shedeur is putting the draft slide behind him and showing why Mel Kiper thought he was the best quarterback in this draft.
Yep.
So again, he's turning heads. He's turning the media's minds, and there's only maybe two people that are even stating these things. So now that we see here and we look at it, Shedeur is going to win them over. He's just going to have to continue to do what he's been doing. And that's all. Us as not fans of just Shedeur, but seen him in college from Jackson State to CU. This is the maturation. This is that level up and the cream that rises to the top situation that I've been stating and been talking about to you guys this whole time. So I understand the whole Shedeur talk, and some people just don't like him because they say he's cocky and stuff like that. He's not cocky. He's just, but you got to be, I'm going to say this. You kind of have to be borderline cocky to play this game of football. Like what coaches say, you don't go hard, you don't think you're good, you're going to end up getting hurt. That's just point blank. That's how I was always coached. That's how I coach my kid and my kids, to believe that you can do what others people say that you can't do. So I don't understand, again, the big time networks doing the clickbait stuff. And now that we are now seeing people state that Shedeur looks like the best quarterback in the room, looks like he should become the starter. Granted, like I said previously, there's going to always be politics of the NFL in that game. But you can't deny the talent. And his talent is showing, just like I stated previously. So I want y'all to understand this is not just a Shedeur thing. This is just a talent situation. And when I say that, his talent's going to get him where he needs to be. His understanding of the offense is going to get him where he needs to be. His play on the field is going to get him where he needs to be and where he wants to be. All draft picks aside, he is no longer a 5th-round pick. Dylan Gabriel is no longer a 3rd-round pick. Now they're players in the NFL competing for a job. And that's how I think people should start looking at it. Not just me. Hopefully the Cleveland Browns as well are doing the same thing. So all in all, I'm picking Shedeur to be second behind either Flacco or Pickett. I believe it's going to be Flacco. Not just because I don't think Shedeur is better than Flacco. I just think the politics of the game is going to get him second until something happens. And Cleveland Brown is notorious for playing 3-4 quarterbacks in 1 year. So that's how I see it. And that's my take on that whole situation. And I hope Shedeur continues to turn heads to change these people's minds so he can get in there and live out his dream as a starting quarterback of an NFL franchise. For your boy, I truly appreciate that. Thank you for listening. If you have a comment and you want to throw your takes out there, leave a comment below. As well, go check out my other shows, Side Talk Sports Podcast, as well as Orange and Blue Country, where we dive into nothing but Broncos. Mini camps are on the way for all NFL teams next week or this coming week. So we're going to get some more information. I'm going to get to hopefully some value content about my takes and what's going on. So thank you for tuning in. I see you next time. Peace.